Why do some people buy more of a good even when its price goes up? Doesn't that go against the law of demand? Well, yes, and that is exactly what today's video is about. Today we are diving into the key exceptions to the law of demand with real-world examples to make it easier for you. What is law of demand? The law of demand states when the price of a good rises, the quantity demanded falls, ceteris paribus. But in real life, this isn't always the case. Let's see where and why demand might behave differently. Let's start with our first exception, Giffen Goods. Giffen Goods are a rare type of inferior good where people buy more of the good even when its price goes up. That seems to go against the law of demand, isn't it? To understand why this happens, let's break it down using a simple example. Imagine a low-income household whose main meal consists of bread because it is cheap and filling. Occasionally, if they have little extra money, they might buy a small portion of chicken for added nutrition. Now suppose the price of bread rises. At first glance, we might expect them to buy less bread. But here is the twist. Because bread has become more expensive, the family now feels poorer overall. This is the income effect. They are forced to cut back on costlier items like chicken. Since they still need to stay full, they end up spending most of their limited budget on even more bread and drop chicken altogether. That is where the substitution effect fails. Normally, when prices rise, people switch to substitutes. But in this case, there is nothing cheaper than bread, so they can't switch. Instead, they become more dependent on bread. The result, as the price of bread rises, the household buys more of it, not less. Thus, Giffen goods are a type of inferior good where people buy more of the good even when its price rises. That's what makes these goods so unique and such a clear exception to the law of demand. This is how we represent Giffen goods graphically. Here the curve slopes upward, indicating that as price increases, quantity demanded also increases. Giffen goods have an upward sloping demand curve. In case you need to understand what are income effect and substitution effect, you should check out my another video, Why Does the Demand Curve Slope Downwards, where those two are discussed in detail. I will share the link in the description box below. Don't miss them as they are also very important concepts. Now let's talk about another strange exception to the law of demand, Veblen goods. These are luxury goods that people buy more of when the price goes up. Sounds upside down, right? But here is why. For some consumers, the higher price makes the good more attractive, not less. Here they are not just buying a bag. They are buying the idea of owning a $3,000 designer item that says, I can afford this. In fact, if the price will drop, the product may lose its appeal because it no longer feels exclusive or premium. So with Veblen goods, price isn't just a cost. It's a signal of wealth, class, and prestige. That car isn't just transportation. It's a symbol of success, of having arrived. So with Veblen goods, price is a message. The higher the price, the stronger the signal, and that is why demand can rise with price, making Veblen goods a clear exception to the law of demand. You will see this most often in the world of luxury brands, high-end fashion, exclusive jewelry, and premium cars. This is exception 3. Sometimes people buy more of a good not because the price is low, but because they expect the price to rise even higher in the future. Think about gold or real estate. If you believe the price is going to increase next month, you might rush to buy it now, even if it's already expensive. So in these cases, demand increases in anticipation of future price hikes, not because of a current price drop. This behavior also defies the usual law of demand. Let's talk about necessities, goods that we just can't do without, no matter the price. Think about life-saving medicines, basic food items, or electricity. If the price of insulin rises, a diabetic patient still has to buy it. The demand doesn't drop just because the price goes up. These goods are essential for survival or daily living. That's why for necessities, demand tends to stay constant or even rise slightly regardless of the price. This makes an important exception to the law of demand. Now, this one is about emotion, not logic. When people hear that a product might soon run out, they rush to buy more, even at higher prices. This is known as panic buying or buying due to fear of shortage. We have all seen this in action when a fuel shortage is predicted. Long queues form at petrol pumps, or during the pandemic when people hoarded toilet paper, sanitizers, and instant noodles. In these situations, price doesn't matter. Fear of losing access to the good pushes demand higher. Fashion-related goods can also behave like exception to the law of demand, especially when they are part of a trend or are seen as a status symbol. Some fashion items become popular, not because of their utility, but because they are in right now. Think of limited edition sneakers or viral designer collabs. Even if the price is high, people rush to buy because they don't want to be left out. And sometimes, if the price is too low, it may make the item seem less fashionable or desirable. In such cases, demand again increases because of exclusivity and social value, not price drops. This is our last exception. For some consumers, a higher price signals better quality. As the price increases, they may believe the product is more reliable, effective, or prestigious, and therefore buy more or be more willing to pay. This behavior is common in cosmetics, electronics, branded products, and even getting private education or healthcare services. Remember, there is a difference between Veblen goods and goods bought due to this perception of quality price. Veblen goods are driven by status and social prestige. Quality price perception is driven by belief in better performance or value. For example, someone may buy a $100 moisturizer over a $20 one, thinking it's more effective, not necessarily to show off. Now, since we have discussed all the exceptions, let us just once more recap how we represent the exceptions graphically, as we have already discussed for Giffen goods. Here the curve slopes upward, indicating that as price increases, quantity demanded also increases. The demand curve still follows the standard axis, price on the y-axis and quantity on the x-axis, but it behaves differently. Whether it is due to luxury appeal or basic survival, these goods defy the usual law and show us how real-world demand can sometimes act unpredictably. Remember, economics helps us understand patterns, but real-life behavior can sometimes surprise us. If this helped clear things up, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you are preparing for an exam or need help with economic concepts, visit my website. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.